These are those riders at the front. 8 of them from the original morning breakaway. 1, and in the yellow there, Victor Campenaerts. We're on our way now to the Plugstreets. They've been an addition to this race in the last few years. You might be wondering what on earth are the Plugstreets? Well, 3 sectors of off-road riding through fields where there were horrible, bloody battles. The name Plugstreets, well, it was a mispronunciation by visiting soldiers from elsewhere. There's actually a small area called Plugsteerts around here, and the legend has it that it was either the British or American soldiers who came and decided they called it the Plugstreets. So we've got 3 Plugstreets. We've got Hill 63, the Christmas Truce, and the Catacombs. First up is Hill 63. They are 3 legs of off-road riding in the space of just over 5 kilometres. They've really become a feature of gent, wevelgem, and they've helped us learn much more about the terrible sacrifices that were made for our liberty. In pure racing terms, they will be dialing up the excitement yet another notch. And they're dialing it up here as well, with splits and attacks still coming. Seven Ks to go. The riders following, trying to stay in contention. There's Bennett in that group from 7-7 on his back. So 1-1-7, pardon me. From 7-3, there's Arengate, oldest of the 50-odd debutants here. Never ridden gent, wevelgem before, the 34-year-old. This is one of the younger riders to it. Kirsch is on his wheel. Ballerini's not too far away for XDS Astana as well. Somebody really fit the profile, Brian, wouldn't he, of a gent, wevelgem winner?
Definitely. Nice to see Ben up towards the front as well for the Nice Grenadiers, and he's been chapping at the door for the last couple of years. Loves these sort of races, and is it a good kind of start to the season? I think it was in Etoile de Bicêtre, she was kind of knocking at the door as well. So a lot of riders just live for these races, live for racing in this part of the world, and you know, if you're motivated to race here, you tend to do rather well. But you know, these Plugstreets are come up at what, 7 to 3.4 kilometres, so it'll be soon when we get through this town here, out the other side. But I have to say that these riders are still hanging in there. They've been helped a little bit by Victor Campenaerts. I really do think that Victor Campenaerts is a bit kind of danger here. He's not going all in at the moment. He's using the original breakaway riders, but they're still kind of hanging on to a kind of small advantage. But what I was saying about personnel and teams and things like that, well, on these Plugstreets we'll see some personnel at the side of the road. It's a very difficult route when I was looking at it to decide where you're going to have some team staff members with wheels and bottles and various other things. And definitely the Plugstreet is probably a kind of marked area that you want to kind of look at.
That's the Irish Peace Tower, bi-national memorial commemorating all Irishmen killed during the First World War, regardless of their background. Each spot refers to the mine battle, the 7th to the 14th of June in 1917. And 2 main Irish units, the Catholic 16th Division and the Protestant 36th from Ulster, fought side by side in the vicinity of Winscata. So here we go, heading up to Hill 63. 63, by the way, refers to the altitude. It's at 63 metres above sea level. There's a lookout field, a viewing point. What was the British Army base there? Just leaving Flanders for a moment, very quickly into Wallonia. And look at this. Look at John Degenkolb there moving up in that jersey on just under the wheel of this Melissa bike. Degenkolb, a former winner of this race, as we're now into the Plugstreet zone. So off-road here, and with it, Brian, the problems, possibilities of punctures.
Yes, indeed. But also a good effort there from 2 minutes. You can see he brought Olaf Coyle, though they've got Campanarts in the group in front. It was just about positioning into that corner, and then just kind of easing back. We see this all the time. So the key points: make sure you're at the front, and then you can afford to kind of ease back a little bit. But yeah, just hopefully over the plug streets here that nobody has any kind of major problems, because it can cause punctures.
Not easy to battle for position here. Certainly once you get onto the plug streets, there's not much moving up. There's moving backwards now, though, for Samuel Leroux. It's his teammate Brunel, who we saw in fine form, back to racing after having to retire from the sport a couple of years ago. Away in a breakaway at the Grote Prijs Montserrat and winning from that breakaway. Girmay at the front of that chasing group. He's looking good today, Brian.
Yeah, same as Mads Pedersen is, kind of missing a beat. Just making sure that they're keeping out of trouble, kind of following the moves, and this is what you have to do. But yeah, it just means another kind of bit of concentration, bit of moving towards the front, making a little bit of effort. It's not in the wind now, but on these kind of plug streets. This race has the makeup of it, these plug streets, the winds, the hills, this has got everything. Okay, it's not got the big high mountains, but this is not a race that you can fall asleep in. This is, you have to be on it the whole day.
And awake, ready to go, likes of Philipsen and Coy right alongside biniam girmay there. Here in the breakaway, Haller joining Brunel at the front. In the meantime, problems behind for Suterin in the purple. 104 is Maisonod of Cofidis. And also in this group, just dropped off the back, Emil Schliepens, national champion of Latvia from Q36.5. Move now on the left as we see it from Mads Pedersen. This is an attack from Mads Pedersen on hill 63. First to react to it, though, you can see right behind him on the wheel is Jasper Philipsen. Olaf Coy is there. In the meantime, problems for Girmay, who can't react. This is Mads Pedersen on the attack, and wevelgem is alive, Brian.
It is, and you could just see that when Mads Pedersen went there, it was just like glue. Philipsen just went straight onto the wheel. Does he have a problem here? Philipsen is just easing up a little bit, so he's looking behind.
Yeah, they're about to turn, aren't they, here?
I think he's got a puncture, is he not? Yep.
Yes, he's on the radio. He's on the radio. Well spotted, Brian, because Jasper Philipsen has a big issue there. And we said that this could happen. That's going to be heartbreak for Jasper Philipsen. You can see it skidding and sliding away. That could be race over.
Could be, and it's not at the best time now. But you could see in that corner there was a couple of teams. This is what I was saying. It's up to the teams to decide where you put your staff members with wheels. There's a couple of teams there with wheels. Unfortunately for Philipsen, it's a long way to go to the end of this plug street. And I cannot see anybody. Just look, Olaf Coy's gone as well. So Olaf Coy, is that him there? On the,
he's on the side of the road there. He's sat on the side of the field.
There we go, the team helpers there. So he's got to get to there and get that change of wheel because he cannot wait for the team car.
Some issue there with Coy. Could you see him sat on the side of the field? Yellow jersey was sat up. We'll try and see if we can keep an eye and get back to that. But Mads Pedersen looking around at the damage. Yes, he was riding well, but he had Philipsen and Coy on his wheel. There is Olaf Coy. Sat down on the side of the rail. I'm afraid that is race over.
Yeah, unfortunately. As we didn't see it on the cameras, but I could just see that he wasn't there. And unfortunately, he's went into the ditch and not looking too good. The way he's holding his left shoulder, it does say to me that could be a collarbone.
The wind howling as we're about to move into sector 2 of the plug streets, and it's the Christmas truce. We're blowing again across the road. This is 1.3 kilometres, and this particular plug street reminds us of one of the most famous, fabled episodes of the First World War, doesn't it? Christmas 1914. Any negotiations have been made impossible by the weather. And an atmosphere of live and let live arose. A football match on Christmas Day between soldiers on warring sides played across the trenches, right up here, and riders now riding through that area. Back to racing terms, you can see the gravel left and right as well. Right past the monument. And try to continue to ride away. Lars Pedersen, a rider trying to come across behind. Looks to be a rider from Total.
Yeah, I think this is Bergmos for Lotto here. Unable to help, but you know, Mads Pedersen, everybody knows he's flying at the moment. So it's just unfortunate for Coy there, crashing. Philipsen possibly can try and get back. He did have to wait to the end of the plug street there to get a wheel. I think he'll be in one of these groups. It really depends on what riders he's got to help, but Philipsen could possibly come back. Unfortunately for Olaf Coy, he did look good today. I think, as you said, Rob, game over for him.
All eyes on Philipsen then to see if he can get some mechanical help. It was a long way. It's off the Christmas truce. 2 of the 3 plug streets done for Mads Pedersen. Next up, the catacombs. But there's no slowing up for the Danish superstar. He's already won this race twice.
I think he won the under-23, didn't he, as well? Or was he the junior?
No, the under-23, the Katkoets Ieper, as it's also known. Now, this is Arjen Levijns, who's with Mads Pedersen. He's from the local area. As we're given a reminder of very sober proportions of the history of this area. Now this is Ballerini, Bissiger on this wheel. Cap at 37 seconds to Group 3. Race breaking up. Now there's a move. And time to go. This Melissa bike have been on the move, of course. No real ability to bring things back, with Coy, of course, having got Degenkolb trying to follow here. More punctures, issues for Miguel Biel. Just off one of the sectors of the Plug Street set. Gaps all over the place, riders all over the road, groups everywhere. This is Keith Wevelgem at its most crazy. 68 kilometres still remain. Got roughly 30 kilometres more of obstacles before the final 35 k's to the finish. This is the front of the race now, just 5 riders strong. Oliveira there about to turn right with Campenaerts. Walker, who's riding really well. The young man from the Isle of Man. He's in the pink jersey. Haller also in that group too, alongside the Brunel. Lars Pedersen in group 2 at 27 seconds. He's driving this along. He's caught riders who were dropped from the breakaway, and he's brought Arjen Levijns with him. Great to see Levijns making a step up here, because he was a sort of breakaway rider in these races for 2 or 3 years in smaller teams. Now he's moved to Lotto, and he's got a chance to ride the finale here, Brian.
Yeah, and he's with, you know, he's just sitting on the way he is and contributing, and, you know, he's an esteemed company now. And, you know, I think at the start of this race, when you were thinking about Mads Pedersen going on the attack, I don't think it, you know, his name would have been in MD's lips. Just seeing a bounce by one of the Uno X riders there. You do have to kind of ride your luck a little bit, but there are numbers here in this group. But you can see that how the tactics have changed for Visma Leasebike now that Coy is possibly out the race.
Mentioned earlier on today about the history that this race for Intermarché, the joy of biniam girmay, And here's the banner that reminds us that they ride for Antoine. It's the 2016 edition of Gent wevelgem, not too far from Cassel.